Hi everyone, welcome to the Data Protection series, where we talk about data protection compliance in Nigeria. My name is Lazarus Carlo. I am a data protection and technology lawyer in Nigeria, and I regularly provide clear, concise, and actionable advice on how you and your organization can comply with data protection laws in Nigeria. If this is your first time joining us, kindly subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. In today's video, we'll be talking about one of the obligations you need to comply with in order to fulfill your obligations under the Nigeria Data Protection Act. In the previous videos we have made, we have been talking about the obligations and requirements that every organization needs to comply with under the Nigeria Data Protection laws. One of such obligations we'll be talking about today is the requirement for the appointment of a data protection officer. Now, in this video, if you watch it to the end of the video, you'll be able to understand if it is mandatory for your organization to appoint a data protection officer, what are the responsibilities of a data protection officer, and what are your responsibilities to the data protection officer in order to enable him or her carry out his functions perfectly. Now, is your organization required by law to appoint a data protection officer? Under the Nigeria Data Protection Act, a data controller or a data processor of major importance is under an obligation to appoint a data protection officer. In one of our previous videos, we talked about who a data controller or a data processor of major importance is. And for the purpose of this video, a data controller or a data processor of major importance is an organization that has a filing system for processing, storing, handling, or otherwise dealing with people's personal data. And within a period of 6 months, such organization handles personal data of over 200 persons. So if you come within this category, you're a data controller or a data processor of major importance, and you are required by law to appoint a data protection officer. So if you fall within this category, it is mandatory for you to appoint a data protection officer, or a DPO for short. If you do not appoint a data protection officer, there are consequences prescribed by the law for failure to appoint a data protection officer. But however, we have seen that in practice, most organizations, even those that do not meet this requirement of data controller or data processor of major importance, go ahead to appoint a data protection officer. And why do they do this? It's because it is best practice to have someone within your organization that will guide you, handhold you, and provide you with advice on how you can comply with your data protection obligation. So it makes sense for you to have someone, even though you are not a data controller of major importance or data processor of major importance, it makes sense for you to have someone that will guide you to comply with your obligations. Because even if you do not appoint a data protection officer, you still have an obligation to fulfill your data protection obligations. Now, what type of person do you need to appoint as a data protection officer? The law states that you have to appoint someone that has expert knowledge in data protection laws and practices. And apart from having expert knowledge, that person must be able to perform the responsibilities of a data protection officer, which we'll be talking about very soon. Another requirement that you should consider, which the law did not specify, is to appoint someone that understands your business and understands your internal operations. Because if your data protection officer understands your business and how personal data is collected and handled within your organization, it will be easier for such person to advise on data protection issues for your organization. Now, what are the roles and obligations of a data protection officer? One, a data protection officer is to advise the company on all data protection issues. So if an employee, ex-employee, a customer has any question as to any data protection issue, the data protection officer is the person that will be providing this advice. Again, if the company as a business requires advice on how to process any personal data, it is the data protection officer that will provide this advice. Now, the second obligation of the data protection officer is to monitor compliance with data protection laws within the organization. So, in Nigeria, we have a number of data protection laws. For example, the Nigeria Data Protection Act, the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation, the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation Implementation Frameworks, and others. So, there are a number of responsibilities and obligations within these laws. So, it is the duty of the data protection officer to ensure that the company as a whole is complying with all these obligations contained in these laws. Then again, the data protection officer will be helping your organization to develop internal policies on how to comply with data protection laws. So for instance, under the Nigerian data protection laws, you are obligated to have a privacy policy, for example. So your data protection officer will be guiding you and helping you to develop this privacy policy. And apart from helping you to develop these internal policies, the data protection officer will equally help you to monitor compliance with these policies. So one of the things the data protection officer will be doing is, for example, helping you to train your staffs, because under the Nigerian data protection law, you have an obligation to train your staff continuously on data protection practices and laws. So this person, the data protection officer, will be directing and managing that training program for your staff. Now, apart from all this one other critical aspect or role of a data protection officer is collaborating with the Nigerian Data Protection Commission on any inquiries relating to data protection issues. Say, for example, in the unlikely event that your company is involved with a data breach, and you know that you are supposed to communicate with the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, so it is data protection officer that will be interfacing with the commission regarding such breach. And again, if your customer or your client has any questions or any concerns regarding how your company is processing his or her personal data, it is this person, the data protection officer, that he or she will be reaching out to clarify any concern he or she may have. So this, in short, is the various tasks and obligations of a data protection officer. And this person will be helping you to ensure compliance with both the laws as well as your internal policies. Now that you understand the obligation of a data protection officer, what obligation do you have as a company towards your data protection officer? One is to make sure that you involve the data protection officer on time whenever you are dealing with any data protection issue. What we usually see in practice is that the data protection officer or the compliance department will be brought in at the very last stage when decisions has been made. So it is usually good to bring them on time at the inception of any decision that you want to take regarding how you want to process people's personal data. Once you want to process people's personal data, it is at that time that you need to bring your data protection officer on board. So the second obligation you owe towards your data protection officer is to ensure that he or she is independent. What this means is that you do not need to punish the data protection officer for performing his or her obligations. Then again, because of the sensitive role the data protection officer is playing, he or she must have direct access to the highest management of the company. So if, for example, the highest body in your organization is the board of directors, the data protection officer should be able to have access to this board of directors. Again, you need to publish the contact details of your data protection officer in your privacy policy, as well as communicate the details to the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, so that the commission or your clients can always reach out to make inquiries as to your data protection practices. Now that you have understood your obligations and everything that relates to data protection officer, what happens when you fail to appoint a data protection officer, or when you appoint someone who is not equipped or who do not have the expert knowledge to advise you on these areas. The penalty for failing to appoint or appointing someone who is not qualified is either 10 million naira or 2% of your annual gross revenue. And I know that you do not want to expose your organization to this huge amount of fines. So make out time to appoint and empower your data protection officer to be able to guide you to comply with data protection obligations in Nigeria. This brings us to the end of this video. If you have not subscribed, please kindly do so, as I regularly advise on how you can comply with data protection laws in Nigeria. Thank you.